everyone, I'm Rebecca and welcome back to my sewing room, except that we are going to be leaving the sewing room and going to Emerald City Comicon. So I am all dressed up as Kirsten Larson, the American Girl. I've got my doll ready to go with me as well, and there's going to be a whole group of us all dressed up like various American Girl dolls. But I am taking you with me all weekend because we are going to be going to the con Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and different costumes each day, competing in the cosplay competition, the Crown Championships of Cosplay on Saturday, and also most likely the showcase on Sunday. And I'm going to show you all of the cosplays and just everything that's going on at Emerald City Comicon. So let's go. We are here at Comic-Con. We've got a meetup for the American Girl group in not too long, so let me see if there's anything to see that we can do before then. As you could see from that footage, that was our American Girl group meetup. Everyone looked so cute. We didn't quite get everyone who was or is dressing up today. Unfortunately, some people weren't available at the moment, so we might have another one later. So anyway, that would be good. But we are going to go to Artist Alley now, and by we, I mean Rachel's with me. Ta-da! So we're gonna go to Artist Alley and check out all the cool artists. Okay, I just have to say that it is so awesome that this new convention center now has all of the food and everything all around. It wasn't open last year, so there is pierogi literally right outside the front doors. It had no line whatsoever, pretty reasonable prices, and I'm very happy with my pierogi. You look fantastic. Do a little spin or, yeah, pose. Nice. And we just found all of the droids. There's so many droids. And they move. It's so cool.
They're so cute.
Oh, hello.
Oh.
It's this wire? Oh no, they're pixie sticks.
They're pixie sticks.
How do you keep yourself from getting too burnt out on it?
I mean, I think one tool that's really useful that you mentioned is just like getting a post scheduler.
And also batch the content, you know, don't try to create it every single day of the week or 5 days of the week. Block off time on your calendar for like 4 hours on one day and just make a bunch of different things that you can break out and schedule it throughout the month and just forget
Do you have any tips on how to like get sponsorships on Instagram specifically when you do have a large following already, but you are kind of nervous to reach out to brands that you haven't purchased from or worked with before? Or like, you know, how do you get sponsorships on Instagram?
I mean, honestly, just reach out, because the worst thing they can do is say no. But because you're talking about posting something like for yourself, like just reach out.
Okay.
Like find either the PR company that works for that company, or like reach out, like slide into their DMs and be like, hey, like I'm interested in this thing that you do. Here's my follower count, or whatever. And I think a lot of companies too will have like, do you want to be like an ambassador or whatever?
We do.
Yeah, and you can fill out like an application on that company's website. So that's another like one size does not fit all thing, where you're just gonna have to like try and reach out. And usually like people will point you to the right direction. Like I would write to a company directly sometimes and be like, actually, can you email this PR company, this person at whatever prcompany.com, and ask them. They handle all of that for us. So yeah, but literally like just do it. The worst answer is no. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're amazing!
So the things that form a line, typically. So your running stitches, back stitches, split. Basically your top row and the next one down, the couching. You can do a lot of outlining, you can do filling with them, but outlining is generally what they're for traditionally, but screw the rules. You also have your fill stitches, so things like satin stitch is your most common, best way to fill large areas quickly. You also have French knots, which are great for texture and small details, and also bullion knots, which are fun to make, you know, long sort of caterpillar shapes or curve it into flowers. But we'll see some examples in context on the next slide.
Instead of doing gold work by hand and sitting there with like oodles and doodles of gold coils and stuff, I'm like actually stitching over foam, and I'm using metallic thread, and I digitized my design to actually have the same ridges that gold work has, and then my machine will stitch it out for me, and so it's created like this faux gold work sort of appearance, and it's still metallic because it's using metal wrapped thread, and it has the like puffy texture because there's EVA foam in there. Like you can just literally get craft foam for it, like 2 or 3 millimeter craft foam, and it'll create those same like textured ridges like gold work.
So you got a little sneak peek at 2 panels there. First one on kind of marketing yourself through social media, and then also one on embroidery. So hopefully those clips were maybe useful to you. And now I think we're going to try and find more of the American Girl group again and maybe take some more pictures. So I wanted to show you first what it looks like outside because it's stopped raining. So let me show you what this outside area looks like here. So this is where a lot of people go to take pictures if it's not raining, and then the other half is used for battles. So I think like LARPing, lightsaber battles, I don't know, Boffa sword, something like that. But this area tends to be the cosplay area. Made it down to the exhibition floor. It's actually pretty nice and empty in here. I think it's because it's the last hour of Friday night tonight. Wave hi! And we're checking out all of the exhibition booths. So this is one of my favorite booths in the expo hall that I like to go to every year. Tea and Absinthe has delicious loose leaf teas. I got 2 this year. I was trying to remember, I think Staying In, I think this one is my favorite. And then Together Breakfast is the other one that I love. But I've had a few from past cons and they're so, so good. Highly recommend. There's a neat little view of the expo hall from up here on 1 as well, because it's down in the basement. We have reached the end of day 1. We're tired and we are gonna head home. So I will see you again in moments for day 2. It is Comic-Con Day 2 and I am dressed in my Rose cosplay. I've already lost the coat because it is too warm for that, but I am still carrying it around. So we'll see if I drop it off at coat check. But I'm talking to you actually now in the future, so we are going to go back in time because I've already watched 2 panels. So let's go check out the Chris Hemsworth panel and the Lord of the Rings panel.
So were there any moments that when you were filming you thought, this can't possibly work, but when you saw it, it really took your breath away?
The crucial moment for me was in a screening room when we saw the first dailies of that opening sequence where young Frodo jumps onto Ian McKellen's cart. Because the film can't work unless you believe all those characters are the right size. And if it doesn't work, if you don't believe that there are dwarves and hobbits of the right size, you haven't got a film. And I was sitting in that screening room when they were showing the thing, and they had a rough assembly that they had put together. And that wonderful moment where you jumped into the cart, and it was absolutely a hobbit and a wizard of different sizes. And McKellen and I were both there, and we both did. And I said to him, "How the hell did you do that, Ian?" And he said, "I've no bloody idea."
I remember when Allie, our oldest daughter, our only child at the time that we were filming, a year and a half or a year later, and got a piece of footage, the teaser trailer, and showed it to her. And she just said, "How does it look so real?" And I said, "Well, you were there. Like, let's pause. When this shot, you were standing right over by the camera." She says, "I know, but," and the funny thing is, it's what she was saying was real looking, was that it was matching her imagination, the reality of the imagination. Because if you turn the lights on and you take some stuff away, it's just, a set and people and whatever. So the idea of what's real, what does it mean to that kind of Velveteen Rabbit, thing. But, we get to see each other on the cast on these, conventions. And Emerald City, I haven't been here in a long time. But being here with John, Elijah and I get to see each other all the time. We do a lot. We eat together, we do crossword puzzles together. All the fan fiction is true. So,
Elijah, I would also love to know, did you jump into the cart or was that your stunt double?
Oh, wow. So for that wide shot of Frodo jumping into the cart, that is Kieran Shaw, not me, yeah. And then when it's me sitting next to Gandalf, that was us on a cart that was a built rig that had a seat in the front and a seat in the back, and the camera was set at a certain angle. So it was essentially using classic forced perspective, where whatever's in the foreground and whatever's in the background, you angle the camera just right, and it looks like they're sitting right next to each other, with one being taller than the other, and that's how we did the cart. Did that sequence, yeah. One thing about your question you had asked about, was there something that you had seen on set from a technological standpoint, or a moment that you remember, and how it ultimately transpired later. And the first thing that came to my mind was Andy Serkis in his, now green suit, not for green screen purposes, just sort of, it looked a bit like Gollum, and this is the suit that he would wear on set as Gollum as a reference, because it was before, we weren't doing motion capture at the time, and it was really a reference pass, and then he continued to drive the animation from there. But he was there physically, and there's the scene, you'll remember it in the movie, where he's off fishing in the river and on the rocks and jumping around the rocks and grabs a fish and he's very excited. He fucking did that, dude. On the side of the mountain, in this river with lots of rocks. It was very treacherous, and he is climbing on there. And it was so hyper-physical and so inspiring that you're like, that's Gollum. And yet, you know, obviously what that ultimately became was yet to be seen. So in rushes, you know, going into it was the upstairs, I think, of the powder horn that they had rushes for the dailies. So we would sit upstairs in this like conference room at the hotel that we were staying at, and we watched that scene, and it's just a guy in a suit running around the rocks like a madman.
You know that.
But the commitment was so there and beautiful, and obviously it's a memorable moment in the movie. You know,
there's a quality in the human spirit that sometimes something won't be denied. It won't be denied. In this particular moment that Elijah's referencing, we were at the top of this mountain, and the way it sort of felt was like we had filmed the main bits, and we were going to be in cars and vans driving and trucks driving back down the mountain, but they had kind of stopped on the side of the road and found a little piece of babbling brook that maybe they could shoot something. And I don't know how long that unit that had been there setting it up, but Andy had been prepping for it for a month. And you know, so for us it was like, you know, a Thursday at 2:30. For him it was like the Super Bowl. And when they started rolling, he flopped himself down into these rocks, and it was more than the character. He was telling us in the movie, he was telling the director, he was telling the camera people that this is real, this is serious, and no one is going to stop me from giving a massive performance in this movie. And we were all like, fuck, okay, wow.
All of them had real talent. All of them had some measure of real success. But unlike any other profession, acting depends on opportunity. And when that opportunity comes, you seize it, and you own it, and you make yourself indispensable, as you said. And that probably applies to other things in life as well, you know. If you get the opportunity, be prepared, and then run with it.
Did you bring that? Did an accent coach say, no, this is how you're going to be speaking?
Well, you based yours on me, right?
I based my entire life and career on you. May I introduce a future president of the United States?
That used to be impressive. Now they let anybody do it.
Well, if you want an answer, the truth is, Tolkien sets out roughly what his characters are like and what they sound like. We knew that the elves, for instance, have a lyricism in their voice that is based on the Welsh, the music of the Welsh language, which is very much like that and rather wonderful. But it can also be a great language of power. Let me just give you a little bit, the first word or two of the Lord's Prayer in Welsh. The Lord's Prayer, as you know, goes, Our Father, which art in heaven, right? In Welsh it is like this. Ein tad, arwyth an y nefoedd. And that is the language of power. We knew that the hobbits were basically West Country, Somerset, maybe a bit of Dorset, maybe a bit of Devon and Cornwall, a bit there. Yeah.
They gave me a tape, a recording. Andrew Jack and Roisin Cardi were our dialect coaches and our dialecticians. And they gave me a recording of a farmer. Well, that's a nice shiny apple. I would say that before every single line. Like, do you remember the Shire, Mr. Frodo? That's a nice shiny apple. Do you remember the Shire? The first time I ever did the accent without the dialect coaches, mothering me was for a video game. And it was both terrifying and liberating when I realized it was like a fool standing for the first time, like, I think I can actually do this.
The accents were really specifically mapped out as they were also articulating based on region, where characters came from, and there was a lot of thought put into it. None of it was accidental. And with Frodo, the thought process was that not having him have a country accent, due to being of a slightly more noble blood, being a Baggins, and his uncle kind of showing him a broader worldview, and his accent being reflective of that broader worldview. So RP, sort of standard received pronunciation, was the choice, so that it was just very, very simple, and that he sounded slightly other, which would, again, just evoke his relationship to Bilbo.
I happen to think that actually Gimli is more human than the rest of them. Hang on, let me explain why. Because they don't really have any faults. Gimli has got all of our faults. And yet all the characteristics that we would hope that we have, the good things, the good qualities that we have, the capacity for friendship, the capacity for bravery and all that, which offsets the suspicion, the paranoia, the aggression. And the one characteristic that he has that I don't think any of the others are written to have is that he has the capacity to change. And that, it makes him a very interesting character, I think.
So my new favorite character's Gimli.
You would have made a great Gimli.
It's happening, I feel it now. My kids would tell you that I'm more like Gimli than Sam, for sure. That's why I don't let them out much, because... Yeah.
Elijah, why do you love Gimli?
Well, I was going to say a favorite character of mine, I think, is Gollum. He was from...
Yes, of course.
Yes, I love Gollum. And
I hate that guy.
I mean, for good reason. I fell in love with the character from the Riddles in the Dark chapter from The Hobbit, and the complexity and the depth of the character as described in Lord of the Rings is just fascinating. The journey that character's on, his history, having been a hobbit, being tortured by the ring and physically transformed, and as a slave to this thing, but yet with sort of interior of that character, there is hope that he can come back from the brink, and I love that. I love the kind of complexity of that character.
It's making me think of we've got him tied up with the elven rope, which burns his skin. And as far as I'm concerned, I just want to kill him. Like he said, we're just done with this guy. He's done.
So Smeagol,
I know. Well, and you, Elijah, and you, Frodo, are seeing something in him, and so Sam has to honor Frodo to try and see what he sees, but honor himself to know that he's dangerous.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is a dilemma that we all are facing on this planet right this second, at home and abroad, is trying to look at other people and see where there's a threat and where there's humanity, and figure out how to navigate it. And so, yeah.
I got into Rada by actually copying one of the great English stage performers called Sir Michael Redgrave. I'd seen a show that he did at Chichester. He was doing Uncle Vanya. And I had a good Shakespeare, but I thought, now I'm going to audition. I want to give them something that they've never heard before. So I took the end of that, I think the second act of Vanya, where the professor announces he's going to sell the whole estate, and Vanya actually loses his top and ends up saying, "You ruined my life. I've not lived. If it hadn't been for you, I could have been a Schopenhauer," and something like that. It's wonderfully, tragically funny. But they're all single lines. So I just rewrote it as a monologue. And they'd obviously never heard it before. And that always attracts people's interest. By and large, if you're an actor,
do something that they haven't heard before. And if you haven't found it, then make it.
A single person that has had a single impact. I've been so inspired by so many people and so many people on the job, right? Because my education, I started when I was 7, 8. So my education was working, you know, my classroom, my acting class was on the field, and that experience and seeing others, not only others act and perform and bring a character to life in a very real way, which was inspiring, but also the practicality of that, how to be on set, how to treat other people the right way and the wrong way. Like, I had this really extraordinary education from a young age and was able to work with an incredible group of actors and directors and many different kinds of films prior to Lord of the Rings. That was just an incredible education. So I'm indebted to all of those actors and all of those filmmakers and those environments for rearing me, you know, quite literally.
It's Wally!
That is so cute.
Hi, Wally!
It's a boo! It's a boo! It's a boo!
It is so busy today. I'm kind of staying in panels all day and or doing the cosplay contest stuff because that's kind of a crowd that I just don't really want to involve myself in. So this is Cosplay Central. Got booths from lots of different organizations. Look what I just ran into! It's Stephanie Canada!
Hi!
She has transported herself to Washington. Again.
As an alternative Deadpool. That's why.
Yes. You want to spin?
As my purse is gonna whack me in the face.
I have my cosplay pre-judging in just a few minutes right in there, back there. So keep your fingers crossed for me. We'll see how it goes. is the Star Wars room.
You're gonna want to go that way. Hi guys, welcome in.
Not sure what all is in here. Oh, whoa. We've got cool backgrounds for Star Wars. I think that's mostly what's in here is backgrounds. And this looks like it's Star Wars costume related. Oh, whoa, you can actually get on the thing to ride. Oh, and they have like costumed characters over here. And I think that's about everything. Here's all the droids again. I love them, they're so cute. It is just about time to line up for the cosplay competition, so I am going to hand this camera off to my wonderful friends so that they can actually film the competition for you. So hopefully we'll have some fun clips of the competition for you to see here. This is Tammy, that Costana as her wonderful Rapunzel Barbie, eating her snack because you must, and it's fantastic. Beautiful.
This cosplay contains 8 pink fairies, over 100 LEDs, multiple pockets, a glow.
Backstage, everyone looks amazing. Oh my gosh, so cool.
Various ruffling techniques and illumination. There are over 300 handcrafted flow and ribbon flowers and leaves and color lights. This is only a most materials
I know, it's getting way too dark.
I just feel like my hand is
Oh, it's good that Tammy's hair is glowing so we can actually see down here. You're the only light down here.
I'm here! There's some more down there. No!
I know, wrong Rapunzel. I don't know you're Rapunzel. You're only Rapunzel.
Now we have some categories, 3 categories that we're looking at today. We're looking at armor, we're looking at needlework, and we're looking at effects. Let's bring out our first in the FX category. It is the honest cosplayer as Link from Breath of the Wild. This cosplay took 11 months. From boots to bowstring, all of the elements of this costume were patterned and made from scratch. Creating this cosplay required Christy to employ every crafting and engineering technique in her arsenal and then invent a couple more. Up next is Ashley Bridges' art as Lilith from Diablo 4. The headpiece was modeled with tinfoil and masking tape before finishing with liquid latex, hot glue, and acrylic paint. The torso is made from faux leather fabric painted by hand with acrylic, with strips of fabric, EVA foam, clay foam, and acrylic paint for the adornment and details. Lydia as Enji Todoroki from My Hero Academia. In order to truly become the #1 pro hero in Japan, Lydia's cosplay has almost 100 feet of hand-soldered LED strips. Here is Mystical Maddie as Mystique from X-Men. Mystique was always her favorite X-Men character when watching the movies with her dad growing up. She spent over 30 hours hand-painting each of the scales on this costume. Tira Meowsu as Harpy from Baldur's Gate 3. On to the captivating allure of the singing Harpies from Baldur's Gate 3. Tira Meowsu cosplay envisioned and brought to life something she's always wanted to make, a set of wings for arms. This cosplay took over 100 hot glue sticks and a blend of foam, wire, felt, and plastic sheets shaped and painted to imitate feathers. Arctos Props as the Hollow Knight from Hollow Knight. Arctos Props is a Seattle local and is so happy to return to conventions and to debut this costume after starting work on it in 2020. Y'all ready to see some needlework? First, we have Christina as the third sister Reva from the Obi-Wan series. This costume was crafted after 6 months of research into materials and techniques, combined sewing, screen printing, pattern drafting, electronic wiring, foam work, and 3D printing. Here's Ty as Pink Diamond from Steven Universe. Now this costume is an original design of Pink Diamond from Steven Universe inspired. Chelsea as Steve Bonnet from Our Flag Means Death. This fab fit cleverly utilizes a plethora of fine fabrics and notions, including some lovely summer linen, abalone shell buttons, and rather exquisite hand-dyed cotton trim. Forever Treble cosplay as magical girl Nurse Joy from Pokemon. Everything you see was designed, patterned, and handcrafted by Forever Treble. Here's Orion as Doctor Strange from Marvel's Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Durable and comfortable, this is a passion project ready for action, brought to life with a lot of patience and a little magic. Momo Naberi as Queen Amidala of Naboo from Star Wars Episode 1. Crafting this ensemble has fulfilled a lifelong dream for her. The construction of the costume posed a formidable challenge, requiring Momo to employ a myriad of skills, from manipulating diverse textures to work with different fabrics, engaging in meticulous hand beading, and of course, two things that are always guaranteed in cosplay: tears and buckets of patience. Lulu Rush cosplay as Charlotte from Disney's Princess and the Frog. This cosplay took over 4 years to make. While making this cosplay, Lulu had to learn how to make an elliptical hoop skirt and an 1860s corset. Here's Jewel Monet cosplay as Princess Merida from Brave. Armed with a bow, quiver, and arrows meticulously handcrafted, Merida stands ready for battle. The dress, fashioned from olive and gold sheer fabric from Nintendo. She used many techniques and materials, including EVA foam, thermoplastics, 3D printing and design, mold making and casting, 5 different fabrics, fabric dyeing, goldwork embroidery. Qwerty cosplay as the Matron of Ravens. Expressing her passion for precision techniques and elegance in simplicity, Qwerty has proven that anything is possible when you eat enough spite for breakfast. Costima as Barbie as Rapunzel from Barbie as Rapunzel. Costima spent the last 3 months and over 250 hours of her life bringing her newest Barbie dress to life. With 11 layers, 20 yards of trim, and 60 yards of fabric, this dress is a twirling masterpiece that weighs over 19 pounds. That weight is well supported by a corset based off of an 1860s design and double-boned 7-hoop skirt. Her sleeves and skirts are hemmed with fishing line and horsehair, and of course, it has pockets. Abby Cat cosplay as Howl Pendragon from Howl's Moving Castle. Abby Cat designed this Howl's cosplay using 80s Prince, 70s David Bowie, and 2000s Tilda Swinton as inspiration. Alendriel as Cruella de Vil from Disney's Cruella. This costume was a dream project for her to complete with months of in-depth research leading into the actual construction. Fun fact! This costume contains over 400 yards of fabric. Here is the ninja of General Ninja cosplay as Hawks from My Hero Academia. This was the ninja's first attempt at creating an original design for a character. She loves Hawks, and after she saw the stealth suit designs from the movie, she knew she had to create a design for Hawks. Here's Lacey as Howl Pendragon from Howl's Moving Castle. Lacey based the undergarments, skirt, and blouse on turn-of-the-century style icons using historical patterns and references. Xavier cosplay as Aerith Gainsborough from Final Fantasy VII. Inspired by their love of both Aerith and magical girl, Sarah has spent the past 2.5 years on this line. Rebecca of Lady Rebecca Fashions as Rose DeWitt from Titanic. Rebecca created this costume from the skin out, including a 1910s era corset, princess line slip petticoat, the multi-layered chiffon gown, and the embroidered wool coat. The gown is made of 5 layers of dyed fabric, with each layer dyed a different color to match the layers of the dress in the movie. Rebecca draped and patterned the entire gown herself and embellished the lace on the bodice with hand beading. And Rebecca digitized the machine embroidery patterns herself from scratch. Just the embroidery alone required over 5.5 hours of stitch time, and the entire output took about 2.5 months to make. It's Rebecca of Lady Rebecca Fashion. Also popular. Here is Stage Props Cosplay as Cicero from the Elder Scrolls. The pants, undershirt, belt, hat, and accessories were custom patterned by Stage himself. Sparkle Ears as Fairy Godmother from Cinderella. Sparkle Ears design is a mashup of 5 different Fairy Godmother costumes of the stage and screen. So say we all, as breakup robe anglaise from Our Flag Means Death. Jennifer utilized various historical patterns, extant museum garments, and some modern sewing techniques. So are we ready for our armor category? Visla Cosplay as Omen from Valorant. It's made from a mixture of hand-chosen fabrics, EVA foam, and PLA plastic, which is held together with a lot of machine stitching. Krabby Cosplay as Nightshade Palumu from Monster Hunter World. This costume from Monster Hunter World, one of her favorite games, took about a year to build and contains a multitude of techniques, including 3D printing, hand sculpting. Wow. Here's Cassandra as Cassandra from The Mandalorian. This OC Mandalorian warrior was inspired by Paz Vizsla's design. He designed and printed the 3D armor and weapons, which is attached to a flight suit. Air Bubbles Cosplay as Rowan Scion of War from Magic the Gathering. The fake glass was achieved with hand-placed and hand-cut glass. It's covered in Warbler and painted with mirror paint. Air Bubbles enjoys bringing characters to life that embody her fiery personality and passion for improving and learning new skills. Sunbeam as Gundam Ariel from Gundam, the Witch from Mercury. This armor took 4 months to make, being patterned completely from scratch using tape and cardboard before finally realizing the armor in EVA foam. Jollibee Cosplay as Shar Isabata armor from Monster Hunter World, Iceborne. Jollibee Cosplay's build has taken a staggering 1,200 hours to complete, and it's made from EVA foam, thermoplastics, XPS foam, 3D printed accents, metal beads, and traditional sari fabric. The gravity-defying cape was achieved using thermoplastic boss shape. The crown, spire, and details on the sword handle are crafted from XPS foam, turned on a wood-turning lathe, and the organic armor detailing was done using a wood-burning tool and Dremel. Category winner here this evening is Tira Meowsy Cosplay as Harvey from Baldur's Gate 3. Give it up for Ray Robia Cosplay as Princess Peach from Nintendo! This is a tough one. Here we go. It's Costima as Barbie as Rapunzel. In third place, Jalebi Cosplay as Shara Izona Armor from Monster Hunter World. In second place, it's The Honest Cosplayer as Link. Are y'all ready to find out who our winner is? As Queen Amidala.
Cosplay competition is over. Didn't win anything. Oh well. And now we are going to go see if we can find food and otherwise go home. So I will see you tomorrow. I am here for Comic-Con Day 3 Sunday. Just got here. I'm a little early to line up for the Addams Family panel, which is my kind of first set plan of the day. So I think I might actually go check out the exhibition hall for a little bit, even though I came up here. I was thinking it was 11:30, not 12:30 for the panel. So I've got lots of time because it's 11 o'clock now. And I am wearing my Katrina look, which is why I want to see the Addams Family panel because Christina Ricci will be there. And I'm actually flying solo today, so I'm going to try and get as much footage as possible. I am going to be competing in the Cosplay Showcase this afternoon, but I don't know if I'll be able to record it at all because I don't know that I'll be able to hand my camera off to anyone in the audience. So we'll see how that goes, but I will show you around and show you some awesome cosplays and some of the Addams Family panel. I think there's another panel that I was planning to attend today as well, so we'll see how everything goes.
Oh, lightsabers. Cosplay Showcase. Look at this adorable cosplay. The meme. The This Is Fine meme.
Here we have
Rebecca.
What do you do for a living, Rebecca?
I am a YouTuber and a costumer. And
Have you ever worked at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg?
Yeah.
How do I know that? You'll never know.
Wait, she also competed last night. She competed last night.
I want you to meet my wife, Lindsay. You lived together at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. Remember that thing I wasn't supposed to say?
That was it.
Please don't do it, Elliot. It'll be embarrassing. I've seen her 2 times this weekend. I don't want to make it weird, so now it's weird. I know you competed last night, but that's fine. That's when we realized it. We got back to the hotel last night, and she's like, pretty sure I lived with her. But she looked like Rose from Titanic. And I said, Lindsay, never let go. Near, far, wherever you are. What's your name? Hey, what we're gonna do, we're gonna play categories. Do you understand? I'm gonna explain how it works real quick. I'm gonna get a category from the audience. We're gonna go down the aisle. If you repeat something that somebody else has said, or you take too long to answer, the audience is gonna go, Disney villains. That's way better than princesses. All right, here we go. Starting with Disney villains.
Ursula. Jafar. Maleficent. Gaston.
We're gonna start on this side. Dog breeds. All right, breeds of dogs. Here we go.
Cocker Spaniel. German Shepherd.
Dalmatian.
Golden Retriever. Scottish Terrier. Chow Chow. Poodle. Pomeranian. Bernese Mountain Dog.
Red Rover.
Golden Doodle. Labrador. Corgi. Labradoodle. Duplicate.
Pokemon. Got it. Look at how excited he is. He's ready to go. We're gonna start with you, in fact. Pokemon. Here we go. Charmander.
Ditto. Yellow.
Movies that Christopher Lloyd has been in. We got it. Here we go. No pressure. Starting here.
Addams Family. Back to the Future. Back to the Future Part 2.
Mandalorian.
Back to the Future Part 3.
Oh, unfortunately, he wasn't in Oh Crap. That's was not something he was in. Thank you very much. All right.
Please help me and welcome me, Christina Ricci and Christopher Lloyd!
And talking about the Addams Family, and what has it been like seeing the love for these films and these characters as well throughout the years?
It's been amazing. I mean, it's incredible. I think Chris has been involved with way more movies that are beloved than I have been. But to be a part of these 2 movies that people still love and dress up as, and it's really amazing, and it's wonderful, and it feels really good.
I grew up, my family subscribed to the New Yorker magazine, and it has cartoons in it, and I'd always couldn't wait for the cartoons to come because it's Charles Addams, and there'd often be Fester, thank you, would be in it. So I grew up kind of into Fester, just as a fan, you know, and then decades later, you get a call, would I like to be in the movie? What are the odds?
Wednesday, I think, really means a lot to people, especially, like, I think anyone who's ever been a little girl knows that you're always told to smile, you're always told to be pleasing to other people, and for a little girl to actually have the self-possession to say, no, this is who I am, and I'm not changing for anyone else, I think that has always really meant a lot to people.
Vera as Lucifer from Has Been Hotel.
We have Edward Scissorhands as Edward Scissorhands from Edward Scissorhands. This is Wizard Hood Cosplay as Link from Breath of the Wild.
As Katrina Von Tassel from Sleepy Hollow.
Up next,
Lady Rebecca Fashions as Katrina from Sleepy Hollow. So here we go. You got your medal. Yeah, I wouldn't want to mess up her hair or any of that. So it looks like we're going to be seeing you next year, huh? Say no to scrunchies. Pick I'd Ship That Cosplay as Toro and Paya from Legend of Zelda. There we go. Congratulations. Ashley Cosplay chose Shane as the Predator. All right, you have lots of pointy things. Our best group, Becca and Grace as Deet and Ryan from Dark Crystal. Congratulations. Best in show. Please make some noise for Jenny as Spider-Gwen from Marvel. There you go. Look, it even matches.
So that was very exciting. As you just saw there, I won a Judge's Choice Award. Thank you so much to Dresses and Capes for the Judge's Choice Award. I so appreciate it, and I hope you had a good flight back to LA. She had to leave early, like during the competition, before everyone actually got to walk the stage, and so could only go on what she was able to see beforehand, so that was a little different. But yeah, I had a wonderful time, met some really fantastic people backstage too, so that was so great. And an award, that's so exciting. I mean, I was kind of hoping for one, but you never know. Everyone is so talented, and it's always so wonderful seeing all of the different cosplays. So very, very fun. And super congrats to Jenny for winning the Best in Show too. I was hoping she would. Her costume is amazing. I'll link her down below. But everything is kind of coming to a close here. I don't know if anything else is even still open, because I think the competition ran a little bit long, so I'm probably going to head out. But I do want to talk to you a little bit more about my thoughts of this year's Emerald City Comic-Con in general, so let's cut to that. So let's talk super quickly about what I liked and what I didn't like about this year's Comic-Con. So first off, the venue is kind of both sides. I know that they had put some of the things like autographs and celebrity photos, as well as some of the like exhibition hall in an entirely different building. I didn't go there because why would I go to an entirely different building blocks away to do any of that? And I know that that also caused delays with celebrities getting to their panels in time because they were busy with the autographs and the photos. I also know that there was a whole lot of issues with particularly the autograph lines, but that is a whole different thing. And I think that Stephanie Canada is actually going to be talking about that in a video about like kind of what went well, what didn't go well. So I'm not sure if she has released it at the time that this video is coming out. At this point, she has not. But anyway, go check that video out and I'll bet you'll hear more about the autograph situation. I don't do autographs, I don't pay for that sort of thing, so I can't really speak on any of that, but I know from the Facebook groups for Emerald City Comicon that that was a real issue this year. Now that said, with the new building where the majority of everything with Comic-Con was happening, it was so much better done this year than last year. Now last year, it was the very first event in that building. They were not ready for it. They just weren't. They didn't know how to run the HVAC system. They didn't have any food options. Like, it was kind of awful. This year, it was nice and cool in there. I mean, it wasn't like cold, but it was palatable all 3 days. It was never like too ridiculously hot. I was even able to carry my rose coat without getting overheated. So that was great. I didn't wear it, obviously, it wasn't that cold, but still, that was great. And also food options. Not only did I think they have at least the same amount, if not more, food options inside the con building itself, but the con building on the exterior on the ground floor had lots of food options all around. Coffee shops, pierogi, more things like right all around there, and that was fantastic. I mean, for me to be able to like walk out the front door, grab pierogi, walk right back in within the course of 5 minutes or less, so good. I absolutely loved that. So that was fantastic. Speaking of the building though, let's talk about crowd levels. Now I went Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Saturday was crowded. Friday though, the artist alley was very crowded. Like, I put on a mask as soon as I got in the artist alley because I just felt like there were too many people in there. I was trying to be cautious about any time I was in a crowd, I put a mask on. That's why you saw a lot of like red nose from me in this video. But yeah, it was very crowded in artist alley. I wish that they would maybe put it in a bigger space, spread it out over
2 spaces maybe, I don't know, but something to be able to give the artists more space so that it's not such a crush walking through there. The aisles were wider than last year, but that didn't really help enough. Like, it wasn't wide enough, they weren't well spaced enough, so it was still really difficult to get through Artists Alley. And frankly, at least I've noticed from Emerald City Comicon, that's where the people go. People want Artist Alley. People really don't care about the exhibition hall. We want Artist Alley. We love Artist Alley. And so that should be given the primary and larger space, I think, not the exhibition hall. So because it was so crowded on Friday, I made sure that I did not need to go back to Artist Alley over the course of the weekend. I only went on Friday. I did go back to the con floor, the exhibition hall, on Sunday. It seemed pretty fine, like it wasn't too overcrowded, but I didn't want to touch any of that with a 10-foot pole when I was wearing my rose dress. I did have the train tucked up, so that was not a problem, but you know, it's white, it's light materials, like I was carrying my coat. I didn't want to mess with any of those crowds that were happening on Saturday. So I stayed on, I think, the 4th floor and above, other than to go out to the patio, which was off of the 3rd floor. Speaking of the patio, I do wish that it had more space for the cosplayers. I still feel like the Boffasword people are getting a little too much of that patio, and we could use more space just to have air and have like places to take pictures, because although there is nice light in the con, obviously outdoor is even better when it's not raining, of course. So the last thing that I want to talk about is panels. And that actually was where my biggest issue with this year's con came from. For some reason in the regular panel room, so not like the big space where the Crown Championships and the celebrity panels were, but the rest of the panel rooms, they didn't have platforms this year for the panelists. Like, I don't know what happened there. They've always had platforms in the past, but you couldn't see the panelists. I mean, you saw in my videos, you could not see any of the speakers for any of those panels, and I was in multiple panel rooms all with the same issue. And on top of that, even like the projection screen, it wasn't raised up, so you couldn't even see the bottom of the projection screen. That's a humongous issue that really needs to be addressed for next year. They need to put those panelists on a platform of some sort so that we can actually see them when they're speaking. Duh. Again, that's never happened before. I don't know why it was a problem this year. Lastly though, the celebrity panels were pretty great, particularly the Lord of the Rings panel was so good. That was honestly probably the best panel that I've ever experienced at a con. Those 3 were just perfection to watch. It was so entertaining, so informative, so like almost emotional. Like, they were just really good panelists, and I highly enjoyed their panel. Big contrast to the Chris Evans panel right before them, where I know he feels socially awkward and doesn't like doing these things, but you can tell. Whereas like Elijah Wood, Sean Astin, John Rice Davies, they were so natural on the panel. Overall, I definitely enjoyed myself. I don't think that I will be doing the Crown Championships of Cosplay anytime soon / ever. I just don't think that like the needlework type of stuff that I do, I don't think that's the right venue for it, because I put a lot of work into the Rose cosplay, doing a lot of different techniques, etc. And I still didn't even win the needlework award. And I'm also just kind of disappointed because I knew I wasn't gonna win or anything like that. I was hoping maybe a needlework award, but I knew I wasn't gonna win. But the reason that I put all that effort into it was because I was hoping people would buy my embroidery pattern that I digitized for it. Nobody's purchased it, and all of those videos are now out, so that was kind of a big waste of time and effort, and I probably should have just spent the $50 to purchase a pattern from someone who could customize it for me, but oh well, you live and you learn. So yeah, that's everything on this year's Comic-Con. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you liked this video, please go ahead and click the thumbs up icon. And if you'd like to see more videos like this from me, please go ahead and click subscribe and the little bell icon to be notified every time I post a new video. I do, by the way, have a playlist of other events such as past Comic-Cons and costume colleges. So I will link that down below in the description as well as right up here. So you can go check out any of those videos if you want as well. I do post videos here on YouTube at least once a week, usually with sewing vlogs out on Tuesdays, and also sometimes additional content out on Saturdays, but I post every day over on my Instagram, so please go follow me on Instagram. That's at Lady Rebecca Fashions. And if you'd like to help support all of the work that I do on this channel, I do have a link to my Patreon and my Ko-fi down in the description below, or you can send me a super thanks or join my YouTube channel memberships right here on YouTube below the video. I'd also like to give a special shout out to my Edwardian level patrons, Jean and Dan. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Happy sewing!